here we go. Carver and Cuthbert with you. Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island as we get you ready on a Thursday, late January Thursday here. It's warmer. It won't be this weekend. Get the shovel out. All of the meteorologists and the weather people, and they are all, they still don't know. You know, could be 3 to 6, could be 1.5 to 2 feet. They're not sure, but be ready. Especially in the Northeast coming up this weekend. Very busy today. We have a lot to do. We have the AFC and NFC title game coming up this Sunday. Who you got with those? Talk about the games. Talk about some stuff from last night. Knicks took it out on the Nets.
Nice.
By 55, 60, something like that. I mean, just a smash job for the Knicks against Brooklyn. And then we've got Islanders lost in Seattle. To finish off their long 7-game road trip. Nothing like getting 3 power plays in the first 8 minutes of the game and you only get 1 goal. You knew it was going to be bad from there. We got a lot of baseball later, too, as one team making lots of moves and one team looks like they're running it back. Same squad.
Roster set.
Roster set. Good to go. On one side of town, other side of town, going to look very different this coming year. I got a lot of other football stuff as well. More Harbaugh stuff. A couple of other thoughts on what happened with the Bills and here and there, and away we go. Mike Carver with you along with Paul Cuthbert. Hi, Paul.
Good afternoon. Happy Thursday. Happy almost weekend. Here we are. Here we go. It's good to see you, pal. It's nice to see you next to me.
I know. It was thankfully we got Willie back to school today. He went home the last 2 days, so that was torture. I mean, just torture. So it's look, I love my kids. I love when being with them, but when they're home from school, it becomes
it's because it's a business day.
It's a battle. But not only that, but like there's things to do, right? So there's things you normally do while the kids are at school, and like on Wednesday and Thursday, part of that things I normally do is I come down here and do this. So that's either here or there. But even besides that, Paulie, when they're home from school, and yours are older than mine. It's a battle because they think because they're home from school that they get to do whatever they want. So they think that because they're home from school, they can watch, TV for 7 straight hours, or they could play Nintendo Switch for 4 hours. I
just want to give you a heads up. That doesn't change.
I know. It's not going to change. I'm sure it's not going to change. And when they get into high school and they stay home from school and they're sick also, they're going to do whatever they want. Olivia won't be on her iPad playing, Roblox all damn day. But you try to set those lines. I mean, just because you're home from school doesn't mean you're sitting, let's play a game. Let's do something else. No,
it's kind of like running a major sports franchise.
And then when I'm like yesterday, I went up into the office and I did this with you from home. And what do you think he did during that hour or plus? He was in front of the TV. I said, you just had the TV. No, so it's a battle. It's a battle when the kids are home from school.
I know,
and you got to just kind of get around it and do the best that you can for as long as you can. So we have a lot obviously to do today. But we do got to start. I mean, this is it. This is Championship Sunday. This is the Final Four in the NFL as we get ready to see who's going to go to Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. I hope they don't practice in that facility next door to the stadium. We're going to talk. I got that story for you today because Lynch and Shanahan talked about it yesterday
they're pursuing it,
at their end of season press conference. So I am going to give that to you in a little bit. But we're going to find out the 2 teams that will head to Santa Clara for Super Bowl 60. And there's lots of storylines. There's lots of wild stuff. And, I love that we have round 3 with the Rams and Seahawks. I love the unknown of this game, this first game between the Pats and the Broncos with this Stidham angle. And, man, everybody thinks they know what they're talking about with Stidham. Like, he hasn't played in 2 years. And you listen to people this week, and you would think everyone knows. I mean, it's done. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I talk betting every day on my show, and I do it. I can't find anyone who's picking the Patriots this week. Like, especially like laying the points spread and doing. It seems like everyone is talking themselves into the Broncos and this Stidham thing, and that maybe that's just the space that I'm living in, Paulie. I'm having a hard time finding people who want to take the Patriots.
Really? It's leaning.
Yeah.
It's leaning.
Like
Stidham
it
and the
feels like, I
Broncos.
mean, listen, and look, this stuff changes. It's still only Thursday. Most of the real action in terms of betting comes in, obviously, day of the game, 24 hours before. That's where you're really going to get a feel for where things are. But just listening to some of the people that I talk to or that I listen to and that I respect, it just a lot of people are talking themselves into this Bronco thing. And I don't know. I'm not quite there yet. Like, I want to be. Like, why the hell would I want to see the Patriots win and go to another Super Bowl? Like that, you think I need 2 weeks of listening to the Mike Vrabel and Stephon Diggs? And you think I need 2 weeks of that? No, I don't. But I don't know why everybody is getting there so quickly with Stidham. And all the guys in the Denver locker room said the right things yesterday, and they all talk about him like he's the greatest backup in the history of the NFL. And you have to talk him up because you got no choice to. And that Sean Payton is a genius, and he's going to have a genius-type game plan for him on Sunday. And this all sounds nice.
May I be bold enough to ask who is the third string on that team in case?
Well, I saw that they on Sunday they pulled Ben DiNucci out of the broadcasting world to come in. The great Ben DiNucci, I guess, is going to be. Now, I don't know if they had anybody in there aside from him, and he's going to be the third quarterback.
Get out.
Yeah, look. Ben DiNucci, they signed Ben DiNucci to the practice squad. He was doing. I mean, I was listening to Ben DiNucci last week on NFL radio.
Mm-hmm.
He was. I guess he's kind of transferred to media since he's left the NFL. And listen, he's not exactly Joe Montana, Ben DiNucci, but. He was doing a pretty good job on NFL radio when I listened to him, but I guess the Broncos called him, right before. I'm trying. I gotta see. I don't know the. Ben DiNucci will back up Jarrett Stidham on Sunday.
Okay, all right.
So this is a guy who hasn't played. The backup now hasn't. Forget about not played this year. At least Jarrett Stidham has practiced all year. Ben DiNucci hasn't done anything all year except talk on a microphone, and he's going to be the backup. I just can't get there yet, Paulie. I can't get there with Stidham, and I'm sure that Payton is a great head coach, a little pompous, but he's a great head coach, and I'm sure he's going to have the game plan of a lifetime for Jarrett Stidham on Sunday. And here's the other thing. Can he play possibly as bad as C.J. Stroud played last week against New England? I don't think he could do that either, right?
I don't know, man.
But is he going to beat the Patriots on Sunday? Like
what? It's like Vrabel not going to blitz the hell out of him in every touch in the first quarter.
I mean,
try and knock him out of the game.
Again, he would be. I saw this stat last night. He would only be the second quarterback since the 50s to win a playoff game after not starting a regular season game. Frank Reich is the only quarterback who won a playoff game after not starting a regular. That was with the Bills in the early 90s. Yeah. Other quarterbacks have started a playoff game without starting a regular season game, but they haven't won. Reich was the only guy who won the game starting without starting in the regular season. That seems like a lot to ask for here. It really does, Paulie.
Especially against a really good team.
Yeah.
It's not like they're playing the Browns this weekend, you know?
Look, I know.
I'll tell you what, I'm leaning on the Patriots. So don't worry about that. I'll take care of it for you.
I guess there's part of me that just, and look, we all, as much as we try to sit here, we all have teams that we root for. We all have teams that we don't like. We all have that stuff gets into you, even when you're talking about this stuff all the time. I mean, I don't want to see the Patriots win. I don't want to do it. But I got to tell you, I think they're going to win on Sunday. Yeah. I really do. I think they're going to win. When you start getting into the gambling aspect of it with 4.5, 5.5, and the point spread, do I think that Denver's going to keep this game, going to be in the game? Look, I don't think New England's going to win 38-3. I don't think that that's going to happen. I don't think their defense is as good as everyone pumps it up to be, and maybe that's just what I saw from the Bills playing them last Saturday, or even some of the weeks leading up to finish the regular season, I didn't think that they were as good. I mean, people make them out sometimes like they're the 85
let's just talk
Bears.
about
They're not.
knowing your squad, knowing your plays, knowing your grooves, knowing who to look for. I mean, Bo Nix had that. You're as an offense, you're just working along as a machine. You know where guys are going to move. You know where they're going to turn. You know where they're going to, feel. You've got just looking on the other side, maybe recognizing defenses and lineups and matchups and stuff. I mean, this is a week. This guy's jumping in here.
Yeah,
biggest game of the year. And
this is a very tough spot, and I can't get there. I just can't.
I'm not there.
In terms of Patriots, I think are going to win. And you know what? I'll probably am going to lay it too. I think the Patriots will win by 7 points. I think that they'll win by a touchdown. And look, I could absolutely be wrong. God knows we are plenty of times. I almost said Ben DiNucci because he made me look up who's going to be the backup. Could Jarrett Stidham come out on Sunday and play the game of his life with an amazing game plan from Sean Payton, and the defense rocks Drake May like the Houston defense did last week and forces him into turnovers, and Stidham doesn't make mistakes, and they grind out a game? Yes, there is absolutely a path to victory for the Denver Broncos on Sunday. I don't think it'll happen.
I agree.
I think it's the Patriots.
And I agree.
You're with me. So both of us.
I don't think there's any that movie stuff coming out of Denver this week.
You don't think so? It's just the better quarterback.
I hope you enjoyed the show in Chicago this year and the show in Indiana, but I don't think it's happening in Denver this week.
No storybook finish.
No.
Jarrett Stidham starting a Super Bowl. You don't have it in the cards.
And you guys can, cut me up some crow and I'll eat it. More power to Stidham and the Denver and Broncos if they do it, but I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I would love to see it. Just saying that. I would love to see Denver win on Sunday.
Maybe May gets sick or something, and then we have an even matchup between them.
Look, like I said, there's a path there. Like, there is a path. I mean, Houston's defense last week put a lot of pressure on Drake May, and he made some mistakes. And you can make the case the reason New England won that game is because Stroud threw up all over himself. I mean, that's 100%. And is the Denver defense, especially from a pass rush perspective, good enough to maybe do that to May again in that New England offensive line again on Sunday? Yes, they are. But I can't get to Jarrett Stidham winning this game. I can't get there. God bless you if you can. Like Paulie said, I'm willing to eat the crow, and I would love to see Denver. I'm not gonna lie to you. And I'll tell you what I am doing this week, just because I feel like it's, and this is a little gambling shop talk for you, Paulie. I think numbers worth. I am gonna take the Broncos. So the 4 teams left to win the Super Bowl, the odds for them to win. Let me just give this to you here. Seattle's plus 150. The Rams are plus 210.
Mm-hmm.
The Patriots are plus 240. And then the Broncos are 12-1. So you have those 3 teams, and then a massive cavernous gap, and then the Broncos are 12-1. I think that's a number that's like too good to pass. Like, just from that perspective. So I know I sound like I don't see a way they can win, but from the numbers, I am going to grab a small piece of that this week, just because I don't feel like they should be that far away from everybody else when there's 4 teams left. So I am going to do that. Do they have the hypotheticals? Yeah, I'll give you a reason why. Let's say Denver did win. They'd be plus 370 on the money line against the Rams. They would be plus 350 on the money line against the Seahawks. You would theoretically have a 12-1 ticket in your hand for those games. Do I think that they're going to win? No, it's just options. That's just more like having options, gambling type of stuff that I'm talking about. I think the Patriots are going to win.
Yeah, I mean, and I think as far as the betting lines and everything else, I mean, you just look at the impact of the position and the importance of the position. If it's any other position on the squad, running back goes down, tackle, wide receiver, we're still probably getting behind Bo Nix, or at least more confidently than obviously the situation the Broncos are in right now.
Yeah, look, I mean, if Bo Nix is playing in this game, the Broncos are probably a 3-point favorite, or a little bit. I mean, less than that. I think that there is a lot of movement here from Bo Nix to Jarrett Stidham in terms of the line, but you got 2 14-3 teams. I think the NFL has taught us one thing this year: expect the unexpected. I suppose.
Amen.
It's been a weird year. It's been a strange season. And maybe the strange season ends with Jared Stidham quarterbacking the Broncos in the Super Bowl. But
come on, man.
I'm not getting there. I think the Patriots go to Denver and they win the game. Look, Buffalo went there last week and they absolutely could have won the game. I think that New England will go in there and they will win the game. All right, the second game, NFC title game just after 6:30 East, round 3 between the Rams and the Seahawks. Of course, they what many have believed to be the two best teams really the last couple months coming down the stretch. I've seen people say already, this is the Super Bowl this week. The winner of this game is going to win the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be that fast with that, but still, they played 2 really fun games this year too. 21-19, Rams beat the Seahawks in LA back on November the 16th. Darnold threw 4 picks in that game. And still got them in position to maybe win the game with a field goal at the end. It was a little too long, though, when they missed it. And then you had the week 16 game, the Thursday night game, 38-37 overtime with Seattle. And that was, of course, where the Seahawks had that comeback down 16 in the fourth quarter, the crazy 2-point conversion play. Rams scored a touchdown in overtime. Seattle scored and went for 2 to win it. 38-37, incredible, probably game of the year in the NFL if you really think about it. Obviously, I could probably dig a little deeper, but it's definitely top 3 games that we had this year.
It's phenomenal
in the league. Right now, Seattle 2.5-point favorite, totals 46.5. I'm a little nervous about Stafford.
Really?
I think that he's hurt, honestly. I think that there's a little bit something more wrong with his finger or his hand than that's been letting on. Just from seeing him miss some throws that he doesn't normally miss.
Okay.
I felt that way in the Bear game. I even felt that way a little bit in the Carolina game. And look, they fought through it and they got the job done and they did it. And but I'm still back in the Rams here, Paulie. I'm going Rams on Sunday. I think that McVay was very open about mistakes that he made in the Chicago game and that he did not coach a great game and he did all that. I think that a familiar opponent, they know each other so well. I think the Rams have just a little bit more offense. I think the Seattle defense is better. I think the Rams have a little bit more offense. And I think it's going to be just like the first 2 games. I think it's going to be tight down to the end. And I think the Rams are going to find a way. Taking Seattle, huh?
Let me think here.
Okay.
I've been thinking about this. So obviously, when they played each other the last game, I was heavy on the Rams.
That was the Thursday night game in Seattle. Yeah, you were very upset. They blew that 16-point lead.
Because I'm a Rams fan.
Yeah, so this should be easy for you. Should be easy for you.
I want the Rams to win. I would like them to win, but I think Seattle's going to pull this out.
Wow.
Yes, it's
this isn't like reverse Paulology.
No.
Here. I just hoping.
No,
on the other side.
Because I think every time I have counted the Seahawks out or didn't think they were going to, really take the next step, and I believe that was very impressive what they did to the Niners last week.
Yeah, super.
That was a hey, how you doing kind of thing. So, I think Seattle with their defense and looking good, Darnell and all this stuff. I think it's all kind of rolling up together. This kid that's coaching him, this
Donald's done a great job.
He's done a great job. It's not easy to win in that building.
It's not.
Look, if there's any team that you'd want coming in to give the Seahawks a challenge, it is the Rams.
Yeah, look, the Rams aren't going to be scared about going into Seattle this week. That's the one thing when it is a very tough place to play, but being that they're a team that goes there every year and they're a division rival, I think that kind of neutralizes that stuff a little bit. And I think the Rams just have to go back. They're like, look, we came in here a month ago and we had a 16-point lead in the fourth quarter that we
yes,
like
they did.
We beat these guys. Like this is we gave them that game.
Yes,
is a little bit of
how
they should be going into this.
Which in turn I believe the Seahawks will look at
and
make sure that they've got to really kind of have a really strong first half here.
Yeah.
Put up some points. And keep the Rams on their heels.
I actually think this game will be more like the first game as opposed to the second game. I think that some people are seeing this total. It's at the 47 area, and they think this game is going to be like the second game, and both teams in the 30s and lots of points. I actually think it's more like the first game, the 21-19 game. I think that there'll be some more defense in this game. Darnold has been picked off 6 times by the Rams this year. 4 times in the first game, 2 times in the second game. So the Rams defense is
one of his favorite teams to throw to.
He does start throwing to the Rams. He's thrown 6 interceptions to the Rams this year. I am taking the Rams to get it done in Seattle. That's my official Who You Got.
And I will officially, though I want
that's very, you're a Ram guy. You've been a Ram guy all year. I'm very surprised that you're going away from them here.
Yeah.
Very surprised.
What the hell?
I'm a little nervous. I am nervous about Stafford. I'm a little nervous about Stafford.
I don't know, man. That was a hell of a job in Chicago last week.
They got it done.
Yeah.
They've had to. And the other tricky part is this is, 3 weeks in a row on the road. And it's good for them that, at least they've been getting closer to home. You go from Carolina, then Chicago, now Seattle. At least they're not, it's not a complete cross-country trip like the other ones have kind of been. But I'm going to go Rams to find a way, lower scoring, and get this thing done in Seattle on Sunday night.
Yeah.
Which means I think Rams-Patriots, obviously, be my Super Bowl.
Which wouldn't be a bad Super Bowl. And no disrespect
as long as the Rams win.
Well, no disrespect to the Broncos fans, but obviously if Strum gets them in, then what are we talking about there? It gets a little more theatrical and more dramatic and stuff. But
yeah, Sean Payton will be thumping his chest if that happens. Oh boy.
All right. So I'll take Hawks. You got Rams stuff. So I want to throw this at you here.
Sure.
If the Seahawks do get knocked out here, this is as far as Darnell's concerned.
Yeah.
2 back-to-back amazing seasons.
Yeah.
And then, we talk about Josh Allen and, not getting there. This guy.
No,
what's your take here?
No, he's fine. He's not, he's going to be back he's Seattle quarterback next year. I don't know.
No, I know, but I'm talking about like his legacy.
Yeah. Kind of I don't think that we're at that level yet. I really don't. I don't think that much, like he's not expected to win the Super Bowl every year. Josh Allen's expected to win the Super Bowl every year. Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, like these guys are expected. Sam Darnold doesn't have that kind of expectations tag to him. But a season like this, even if it does end on Sunday, and now you're talking about, now you've done it 2 years in a row. Okay. Now, last year, pathetic in the playoff game against the Rams, and they lost. This year, won a playoff game. Didn't have to do much in that win, to be fair, but still won it. And now he's won a playoff game and gotten to the NFC title game. If he were to lose on Sunday and it was a dreadful performance like last year against the Rams, I think that narrative stays with him, that he's not going to get it done in a big spot. But I can't put him in that level of pressure of where those other superstars of the league are, because he's not a superstar left. Now, he could elevate himself to that with a couple more wins, and he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback, because a lot gets talked about. The 2018 draft, Paulie, has, these guys, 5 quarterbacks that were taken in the first round, have all had some, aside from Josh Rosen, who's out of football and gone, but the other 4 have all had some varying layers of success. And obviously Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson are the 2 that have won MVPs and have had the most expectations put to them. Baker Mayfield has had a bunch of stops, but now has kind of found a home, and he has shown himself to be a somewhat big game performer, and he's gotten Tampa to the playoffs the last few years before this year. Darnold's been the guy that's kind of been left on the side of that group. And how wild would it be if he ended up being the first quarterback out of that group to win the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Especially where Allen and Lamar Jackson have been the last 5 years, and the expectations that they've had. How about if Sam snuck through the back door and was the first quarterback of that great quarterback draft class to win a Super Bowl and maybe be Super Bowl MVP or do something like, things like that? Then you start talking about him in a little bit of a different light.
Yeah.
Once you get that but I still think he's kind of in that tier 2 below those other guys, and he still has some narrative that he has to shake. And I don't think it changes.
Which is wild with his record.
Well, when you win 13 plus games 2 years in a row, you don't think that's there for you anymore. But when you win that much in the regular season, then it just goes to the next narrative, which is, but what have you done in the playoffs? Yeah. And he's 1-1 now. And I don't think anyone is giving him any credit for them winning last week. I think that they're giving their defense and starting the game with a special teams touchdown, and they ran the ball down their throat. And I think that that's the stuff that everybody looks at. He hasn't, gone out and won a playoff game, like having to take a team down the field and win it, and all the stuff that Allen and Jackson and these other guys get kind of criticized for. He hasn't done that yet. But he's got potentially two more cracks this year on the two biggest stages to do it. So a lot of narratives can be changed with Sam Darnold. But I thought about that 2018 thing for a moment, that he could be the first guy of that group, that very heralded group. Mm-hmm. And he was the guy thrown away by the Jets. Thrown away. I mean, think about it. Jets, Carolina, San Francisco. This is his 5th team since 2018. And he could be the first of that group. Maybe to win the big game. Pretty crazy.
It is crazy.
It kind of relates to the wild year that we've had.
Nailed it,
in the NFL. Like Sunday night, you could Sam Darnold and Jarrett Stidham for a Super Bowl. Like that. It sounds.
Does the NFL want that?
No, they are.
They want Rams Patriots.
I mean, listen, if you could put the microphone
West Coast, East Coast.
If you could put the microphone in Goodell's office today and just listen to them talk, he's begging for Rams Patriots. He's begging for Stafford and McVay and Vrabel and Drake May and all, this stuff. It's a long 2 weeks if we're doing Sam Darnold and Jarrett Stidham. A long 2 weeks if that's what you're doing. So who you got? Championship Sunday. I've got the Rams and the Pats. Foley's got the Pats and the Seahawks.
Yes.
So maybe the Rams could finally get over the hump against the Patriots, too, in the Super Bowl. 0-2 against the Pats in the Super Bowl. They were cheated the first time. That was the first Brady win where Belichick spied on the Rams, and they didn't figure out till midway through the third quarter that they had all their plays. And then suddenly the Rams had like 500 yards of offense in the fourth quarter and just came up short. And then you had the worst Super Bowl I've ever watched in my life, which was that couple of years, the Jared Goff Ram Patriots Super Bowl, the last one that Brady won with New England, which was just an awful, awful game. Oh, my God. What was that, 13-3, I think was that game or something like that? It was just an awful Super Bowl. So possibly Rams-Patriots round 3, at least in the Super Bowl setting you could get this week.
Boy.
Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio from Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. As we get ourselves ready, we got a lot more stuff to do here, but Paulie's first going to tell you about everything that's going on down at Borrelli's here in a little bit.
All right. So first things first, Borrelli's will be closed tomorrow night, Friday, for a private event. So if you did have plans to come down here to Long Beach, Borrelli's is not going to be an option. This weekend, though, be around all the sports going on this weekend, and football and basketball and hockey and everything else. We do have live entertainment here on Saturday. Evan Karuga is going to be here at 7 p.m. And then on Sunday, Fun Day, the Atlantico Band is going to be starting at 5 p.m. And so that's live music for this weekend. And then coming up next week, if we're not all snowed in, 12 feet full of snow and Arctic and all that other stuff, music theme night returns here next Wednesday with the debut of Sinatra Serenade, 7 p.m., free admission, food and drink specials, half-price bottles of wine, $10 signature cocktails, all favorites of Frank Sinatra. So you can go to Borrelli's now, at Borrelli's Long Beach on Instagram now, and you get to see all those specials, particular specials broken down. Next Tuesday as well is the comedy series returns here too as well, and that's Joe List. He'll be here. There's a few tickets left. You can go to Borrelli'sTaproom.com, or you can go to Eventbrite.com and search Borrelli's Taproom or Borrelli's Comedy. And for all you local hockey fans next week, there's a, I don't know, I guess we'd say, Mike, this is a bigger game for Islander fans, but there is the Islanders versus Rangers watch party here at Borrelli's on Thursday, the 29th, hosted by our friends at Hockey Night in New York.
How about that?
And they got all kinds of specials going on that day. The pregame show starts at 6. Puck drops at 7. There's giveaways. There's prizes. They got $35 Surfside buckets, $35 High Noon buckets. Well, buckets. What's buckets?
Buckets. Buckets.
Well, maybe if you're in Canada, it's a buckets. $25 Michelob Ultra buckets, $20 Miller Lite buckets. And don't forget, if you just walk in the door on Thursday night and say, hey, Carver and Cutler podcast, you get a free Miller Lite to start the evening off. There will be $4 Miller Dry Ice for the evening, 2-for-1 pizzas, all that good stuff. So that's a I don't know, it could be a massacre for the Islanders on Thursday night here at Borrelli's. But come on down for that. Rangers Islanders pregame with Hockey Night in New York, and the big game here on all the TVs and all the specials I just announced. So that's what's going on at Borrelli's through this weekend and next week. Borrelli's Taproom.com.
Wow, big Islander Ranger party, huh? How about that? I told you yesterday they're playing a big home and home Wednesday and Thursday.
Yeah.
So bunch of Ranger Islander games coming up.
Yeah, exciting for the Islanders fans. Definitely.
Not exciting for the Ranger fans, I guess, huh?
No,
not exciting for them, really. You're saying.
No.
Ranger fans,
no.
They don't need it. They don't need it. All right. Carver and Cuthbert Go Sports Radio here at Borrelli's on a Thursday on the island before the snow this weekend, as it is coming one way or the other. White stuff's headed our way. At least it's going to be Sunday, and I don't have to leave the house. I can watch the games. Nobody maybe will bother me. But I'm sure that I'll be required to do some kind of task. Obviously, with a shovel, I'm sure I have to take the kids sledding, whatever it is.
If we're home and the wives are home, there's going to be tasks.
Probably.
There's always tasks.
Yeah, I know. There's always tasks. All right. We spoke about Harbaugh and the Giants yesterday, the big introductory press conference, and how things are going. And I thought this would take a little time, but John actually didn't waste any time at all. And I think that this was part of him. What took so long for them to finally sign the deal is he wanted to make sure that he had as much control as possible over, seemingly everything that's involved with New York Giant football. And he has now started to work swiftly in terms of clearing out some of the people that have been around there for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
Some executives and others that have been with the Giants for a long time. It started last night. Longtime exec Kevin Abrams was with the organization for nearly 3 decades. Part of an organizational restructuring. He's out. So say bye to Kevin. He was the assistant GM at one time. There was thought that maybe one day he'd be the general manager. He, like we said, 3 decades. Kevin Abrams been there. Finished. And then you had this morning the longtime, I guess you would call Ronnie Barnes the head trainer, I guess you would say. Let me give you the exact thing that happened with Ronnie Barnes here. His role is not changing, allegedly. So there was a big firestorm about this. Ronnie Barnes has been the Giants trainer for another guy, decades, has been with the team. I saw the story. Wellington Mara thought of him as his 12th kid. There was like all sorts of things with Ronnie Barnes. And then they sounded like he was being reassigned.
Okay.
Paulie, and that Harbaugh obviously wants to bring in his own training staff, his own people. I guess that were with him in Baltimore. I've seen a lot. He's bringing a lot of people from Baltimore with him up there. They made sure to get out to their people after this news broke that his role is not changing. He will keep the same title and will still oversee the Giants' medical services. The only change expected in that department, this is from Art Stapleton, is the hiring of a new head trainer. Well, if they're hiring a new head trainer, that means that his role is changing.
Absolutely.
He's not the head trainer. Right? I mean, and look, Ronnie Barnes, everybody talks about Ronnie Barnes. He's great, and he's been with the team forever. And I'm glad he's staying and knowing all that. I'm not a Giant fan. I couldn't tell you one thing about Ronnie Barnes. But here's just both of these things, looking at them from the big picture-wise, Paulie, and that is, this is what Harbaugh fought for when he was coming here. Yep. I want control over not just the team on the field, but the things around the team. And look, I'm not saying that these guys have done a bad job in their long histories with the Giants, but they've been a bad organization for 10 years now.
Yeah, and on the other side, too, the Harbaugh wants to have people he's familiar
He
with.
wants his own, like you said, familiar with. He's bringing people from Baltimore. He's bringing trainers from Baltimore. He's bringing executives from Baltimore. He's bringing film staff from Baltimore. Like, he's bringing people that he has been comfortable with and that he works well with. He's bringing his assistant from Baltimore. He's bringing everything with him. And on the other side of this, like, if you're a Giant fan, you shouldn't be upset about this, because as great as it was, a lot of these people that have been there for decades were 20 years ago, the organization has not been good for the last 10 years. And maybe it is time to change some things around organizationally wise. And that's maybe something that John looked at when he took the job and said, listen, I'm sure everybody likes this guy, but what's he been doing here for last, or listen, Ronnie's a legend around here, but I want my own medical guy in here. There's just things when you're trying to reshape and change an organization, and you bring a guy in to have this kind of stature, and he's got this much, and you've given him the power, and that was the only way you were getting him. And I thought they did the right thing doing that. You have to let him make those changes that he wants done. So I know there was a little bit of slight belly aching from some of the Giant Nation this morning about some of these things, because they've, they're part of the fabric and they've been there a very long time, but it's time to change things in a different direction for this team. And that's why you hired this guy to do that.
Part of the fabric. I mean, like I said, it's not like it'd be different if there was a lot of success, hanging on the walls here, in the last decade, but there hasn't. I mean, look, any sports fans of any of their own teams, when there's changes, you have to expect all this stuff. And, the Giants are going through it right now. And the Giants, this is a good thing. This is all positive stuff. And you want your new head coach to be as comfortable as possible so he can get the job done that he needs to do to get these guys back, with heavy win column and back in the playoffs. And it's when you shift from a franchise to another franchise, and you're shifting to the New York Football Giants, you want to trim out as much as the stuff that you're not familiar with and the people that you're not familiar with as much as possible, so you can kind of focus on, what I got from Harbaugh in the press conference, and what he's done in the 18 years that he's been a head coach is focus on his players and winning games.
He is been the team's head athletic trainer for 45 years. Unbelievable career. He was there before LT and Phil Simms. He's been the athletic trainer. I mean, I'm 45. He's been there since I was born, Paulie. He's been the head athletic trainer since 1980.
Well, medicine has changed. Time has changed. Treatments have changed. It's, I don't know the guy from anything. You know what I'm saying?
Couldn't pick him out of a lineup.
But 45 years is a long time.
And again, it's not like they threw him out on the street. He's staying in the building. Yeah. They're just hiring. John's bringing in his own new head athletic trainer. Yeah. That's okay.
He's the guy going around the cart now in the locker room.
I guess so. That's no. That's he will oversee the department. Good for Ronnie. Sounds like almost like a retirement gig. It's like an overtime club for Ronnie.
Yeah, I'd be like,
that's all it is. I mean,
After
when you've been doing it for 45 years, you still get to stay in the building and just kind of oversee things and act like you matter. So let him do that. That's okay. The other guy, though, it sounds like they threw him out. The other guy last night sounds like he's not getting restructured. He's just getting thrown away. Yeah. That's all that's happening with him. So Harbaugh already wielding the hand of power.
Yeah.
Over at the Giants facilities.
Well, why take the job if you can't? Why take the job?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree 100%. And this is why it took 3 or 4 days for it to become final.
If he's a young coach coming in, different. Then obviously ownership is going to have more influence.
But these are the things he wanted ironed out before he said, he wrote the name on the paper. Yeah. He wanted to know, I'm going to move some things around here. I'm going to shake some things up. You always like, shake it up. Shake it up. I mean, I think things over the last 10 years have constituted shake it up.
Absolutely.
So let him shake it up for there. All right, next for you. Also, yesterday we spoke a little bit about that Bills press conference with Terry Pegula and Brandon Beane and the fallout from the firing of Sean McDermott and all of those things. I found it fascinating. And look, I think that this is more like just for Bills fans out there. And we do have a few that tune in, and there's, John's a great Bills fan. He's always commenting in the chat. There's other people that I think that Bills fans get very defensive, as they should, of how they're perceived nationally and how the team is perceived nationally. And I think that a lot of people, Buffalo's it's a great town, and people are very defendant of their teams there, and they're defending the Bills because they love their team, and they don't like when national media types kind of mock and make fun. And I think there was a lot of that yesterday, all over the talking heads, whether it was ESPN or Fox or anywhere. There was a lot of really dumping on the Bills. And did Terry Pegula did a bad job in that press conference yesterday? Yeah, he did. Like I said,
he looked good though.
I think I said to you, like, I think there's
good Terry look. I mean, he looks good, man. He looks healthy.
I said, I think there's a reason why he hasn't talked since 2019, and it should probably go back to that.
No, I know. Like, you brought it up. But he looked good.
But I mean, even besides that, and I understand that reason, I'm saying he probably should go back to not talking. Like he should just don't talk. I think would have been the best thing. And people take they don't sit and watch the whole press conference. They take the hot clip and they go and they run it over. Like, I am still just flabbergasted that 24 hours later, everyone is still wound up about this remark he made about Keon Coleman and who drafted him. Who cares about Keon Coleman? Why is this the thing that we are taking out of that press conference? He's a second-round pick who's played 2 years in the league that hasn't worked out, and he's been
maybe it's to steer away the narrative.
I mean, it is just, I'm surprised how big of a deal it made. Look, does the owner kind of throw him under the bus? Yeah. I mean, he's basically saying the pick sucked, and he's doing that. And the guy's still on the team. He probably won't be by the time we roll around to a new year. But either way, why is this the big focus of who cares? Acting like Keon Coleman is Jamar Chase or something. What? Let's calm down here. This guy has contributed almost zero to the team over 2 years. This is not a big time player in the league. Can we relax? And when he has had opportunities, Paulie, he's been benched because he's been late to meetings. He hasn't been, and everybody hasn't shown maturity yet, is what Brandon Beane says. McDermott said that as well throughout the year when they benched him a bunch of times for being late to meetings. But I am stunned of how big a deal it is. He made a comment about Keon Coleman. In fact, all that really did was deflect the question that was being asked there that Pegula jumped in on.
He changed the narrative.
You're right, he did, because Sal Mairena, who's covered the Bills for decades, and he was asked an actually really legitimate question to Brandon Beane about how you've built the weapons around Josh Allen and that they're subpar, and what do you have to say about how, and he was basically saying the free agent pickups have been subpar and the drafting of Keon Coleman. And that's when Terry jumped in with that line that everybody has now seen 1,000 times on social media. But let me tell you, he didn't want to beg him. But that allowed Brandon Beane to then not answer the original question, which was a very important question. Why have you not put better talent around the guy in a whole as a big picture? And
they don't want to answer that question.
And here's the other thing that I took out of that, watching it, and I had watched the whole thing when me and you came on yesterday, and I obviously have gone back and watched some other clips of it since then. How could you not? They're everywhere. I now believe that the first narrative that Beane won a power play over Sean McDermott, and he has the owners. I actually think I think Brandon Beane was just as surprised as anybody that Sean McDermott got fired. I don't think he knew any of this was coming. I believe Pegula was just like, yeah, I'm firing this guy. I don't think he consulted with Brandon Beane. I don't think that Beane wanted McDermott out. I don't think that. I think that it was just as a surprise to him as anybody else. And now it's been thrown on him because he's the guy who's staying. And I've said this to you, and I would have gotten rid of both of them. But from what Terry Pegula said yesterday, he still believes that there has been a model of success here over the last 7 years. And I agree with his decision that it was time for a change at coach. It's a gamble because you could easily hire someone who stinks and they go backwards. But you might also hire someone that breaks the glass ceiling and gets them finally to the finish line. So I had no problem with firing. And some Bills fans are a little, people were yelling for this guy to get fired And I still believe it's 13 seconds. That obviously is the game that everybody goes back to. And this was one of his better coaching jobs this year. It was time for a change. And I am a little surprised how everyone, and it's because of the way that they handled it PR wise that we discussed. It's because of that now people are suddenly like, oh, they shouldn't have fired McDermott. Everyone wanted McDermott fired if they lost again. Okay. We just didn't think they would actually do it.
Yeah.
I said, I mean, people in town, all of the hosts on WGR, the guys that cover the team on all the beats, no one thought that this guy would fire him off of this loss. So everybody would, at one point or another in the last 3 or 4 years, after all these mind-numbing losses, has said that they should try something different and get rid of McDermott. I've said it 1,000 times. I have no problem that they fired him. They just did an awful job with how they handled it. And now they better get this one right. They have to now get this right. I'm not enamored with the names so far.
Yeah, I mean, who comes in and coaches this squad?
Now, I saw this Orlovsky on ESPN. Everybody knows Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah,
everything.
Danny's the goods.
I actually thought he made a really good point, and I'm willing to give somebody credit when they make a good point. He said, I think the one thing they can't do is they can't just bring one of Josh's buddies in and have him be the coach. And I actually do agree with that, because I think people immediately were like, oh, Brian Daboll. And it's known. Like, you talk to people around the team. I know Tyler Dunn's brought this up, who's covered it. Like, Brian Daboll and Josh Allen were super tight when he was in Buffalo as the offensive coordinator. Like, super tight, like hanging out away from the team, super tight. And yet, like, him and Davis Webb are super tight. Who's the quarterback coach at Denver that everybody is the next, 30-year-old whiz kid who's going to be a head coach in the NFL. Like, him and Josh Allen are super tight. Joe Brady's been the OC for the last 2 years. I'm assuming possibly super tight. Maybe not. I do kind of agree. Like, I don't know if I want somebody who's just kind of going to be a yes man to Josh. Dan's point was, you want somebody in there that's maybe a little older, more respected, that can push him a little bit more. Not be his friend, but push him to be even better than he is. And I do kind of like that aspect. I don't know who that is, by the way. I don't think that this group that they're interviewing right now actually is that. But I like that thinking, Paulie. I do.
Well, what do you think is the perception of watching that press conference?
Yeah.
If you are a head coach looking for a job, does that excite you to walk into that type of situation?
It probably doesn't. It probably doesn't after watching that. And I think that. And I think that does go to the whole national perspective, because are most of these guys who are going to interview for this job, are they sitting around watching that entire 52-minute press conference yesterday? Probably not. But are they watching ESPN and Fox and watching
all the clips, what
everyone's talking about, and the hot sizzle stuff that came out of it? Yeah. And when you just watch that stuff, you probably would have a negative thinking of the job now. But at the end of the day, you're still, the positive is you're going to potentially coach an MVP, and you're going to have an MVP quarterback, which is gold in the NFL. You want that stuff. The negative is you are now expected to bypass somebody who's, like, as I said to you yesterday, won a playoff game in 6 straight seasons. You're expected to exceed that taking this job, because that guy got fired for winning a playoff game in 6 straight years. You are expected to exceed those expectations. That's a lot. That is a lot. So it's a little buyer beware. And I think you got to have the right mentality to walk into that building right now with everything that's gone on here the past couple of days, and to be able to take it by the horns. And, I'm a little bit on a, not the same, they're two separate things, but a little bit with kind of what Harbaugh is doing right now with the Giants. Like, he's come in and he's kind of taking it by the horns, and he's telling you, this is I think whoever, it can't be a yes man. They got to come in there and kind of assert themselves and embrace those expectations and those challenges. And I'm not sure that a first-year brand new head coach is going to be able to do that. That's my issue.
Yeah, I think we can all kind of maybe stand here and think this, talking about the Bills getting a new head coach was not something we thought we would be doing.
Yeah. I didn't think, and again, I didn't think we'd be doing it because I didn't think there was any way they'd fire him.
Yeah.
I thought there was absolutely reason to fire him. That's the one thing about what Pegula said yesterday that's true. he sat there and what? And that's another thing. Everybody pointed. He said he fired him because of the loss on Saturday. That's not what he said. He said the loss on Saturday and watching the guys in the locker room, it's the same scene that he has now seen for year after year. Yeah. And that is why he fired him.
And they're running
fire him just because of Saturday. That is not why he fired him because of a bad call. That's not why he fired him. He fired him because it's been the same scene every single year. It's always something. The guy even listed him. He's like 13 seconds, missed field goal, bad call. Like, it's just always something that the wall kept hitting.
Yeah.
And that's why I have no problem with what they're doing. But God, did they screw it up from a PR perspective and just the way it looks perspective. They did just an awful job with it. And that's why they're taking the heat that they're taking now. And that's why it may scare some people off. But I do believe at the end of the day, you're getting a chance to go and win with 17. And that's a pretty good reason to want to go there. I really don't want
new digs next year.
I really don't want Dable, Paulie. I think if there's one guy I'd be.
Well, from a Giants fan, you don't want Dable.
I think it would be a really, I thought about it more and more. I get, they love the guy from Western New York who understands the town and understands the team and understands the mentality. He was 20 games under 500 as the Giant coach. He should not be coaching another team the next year. He just shouldn't. He should be going back into the OC offensive coordinator pool. Go work with Cam Ward in Tennessee and work with him and Bobby Saleh can go run the tight. He should not be getting a head coaching job. And just because he has history with your team, that does not mean that you can brush away 20-40. That was 20-40-1 as the Giant head coach. 20 games under 500. I'm sorry, that's not someone who should get it immediately hired off of getting fired. He just shouldn't.
So you're definitely anti-Dable.
I don't want Dable. I've made that pretty. And look, and I'm also sitting here saying I don't really know who I want. I don't know how serious some of this stuff is. Like Lou Amaruno, hell of a guy, the defensive coordinator, Staten Island Lou. How could you hire another defensive coach off of McDermott? You just had a defensive coach. You have a weapon in that. Don't you want an offensive guy?
Buffalo is a mad, mad world with Pegula.
Go back to not talking.
Running back, two of them.
Yeah.
Two of their two major franchises.
To be fair, the Sabre drought might end this year. Maybe that's why he talked again. Sabre drought's almost over. We'll see if they can.
Sabres have been here before, as far as they can go up and down. Hey, look, we're all pulling for them. We love Buffalo. I mean, like I said, you're a big Bills fan, and I've gone up to Buffalo for Sabres games and stuff. Love it up there. And the town is a great sports town, desperate for a winner, desperate for a championship, and obviously gotten close on the hockey side and the football side of things. And a lot of heartbreak going on up there.
There is.
I do feel for you guys though.
It's all right.
This is
It'll be okay.
I don't think this was it was probably eventually expected, but right after last weekend and for it to happen so fast and obviously now watching your the owner in the press conference doesn't make it any better.
It doesn't. Two other small NFL things, then I want to get to some other stuff. First, I told you I'd bring this up yesterday. Kraft did an interview earlier this week in New England with one of the local shows there. Robert Kraft did an interview. He had a lot of things to say. It was actually one of the more candid interviews he's done. And he is one of the few NFL owners who actually will speak his mind from time to time. Maybe it's because he's 100 years old and he's had enough stake in it. Who knows? But the main thing was he kind of let the cat out of the bag. I'm sure Roger wasn't too thrilled with it, but we're going to push to get this 18 games in. We're going to go from, take out another preseason game, go down from 3 to 2 preseason, go up from 17 to 18 regular season. That probably means 2 buys and then playing we've always kind of wanted the Super Bowl on President's Day weekend. That seems like that's where it's all roads will lead to that eventually down the road.
Mm-hmm.
But the little side thing that he also put in there, Paulie, was along with that 18 games we're also going to get to a point where every team plays an international game every year.
And I'm sure you jumped up and down.
You got to be kidding me. I mean, enough. These guys are so fixated on these dopey European games and these games in Brazil and these games. Stop. Nobody cares. It's all setting up for one thing. You know what it is. They're putting a team over there within the next 10 years. It's Gonna happen.
Or they're gonna have a Super Bowl over there.
And once they get the team there, that's what will happen. They're gonna get the team there regularly first, and then they will go the whole way, and then they will do that.
So if we're old school. We've grown up with this game and very used to it being played a certain way. Now, obviously, in the last 7-8 years, they've made some changes and expansion and everything else that's going on. Every time the NFL has changed things or fed the fan base anything, and this includes all the multiple streaming networks.
Yeah.
Everybody said, "Oh, I'm not going to watch it on Apple. I'm not going to watch it on Apple." They're all watching.
They're all lying.
There's
35 million people watch the Amazon Packer Bear game, playoff game.
So,
I mean, come on.
Anything that they're talking about here, or anything that the NFL adds here going forward, they're going to do it. And my question is, I have to say, Mike, we're all going to eat it up. It's more football.
I know. Oh, well, everybody's going to watch. Believe me. I'm not here telling you the demise of the NFL because they're going to make every team go overseas.
Demise, but I mean, it's
the machine is churning at an all-time rate. Like, it ain't going nowhere. It's really not. I just think it's like, it's just so much. Like, all right, so now you're talking. You're going to send every team. Let's do the math. There's 32 teams. Okay, that means you would need 16 international games a year. And God, it already seems like they play that, but it's probably more like 5 or 6 at this point. 16. Where are we playing these games? We're going to have a game every week in London. We're sending the Spurs out of town for a while to play at Tottenham. What are we doing? I mean, it's
I'm sure they could look with the. Obviously, me and you are both familiar with the European soccer leagues, right?
Right.
They have the stadiums throughout Europe to have NFL football games. They can do it. They expanded to Spain this year, I believe, and they can go into Italy, and they've done Germany. And why couldn't they have a game in Dublin, for argument's sake?
Well, they did. I wouldn't mind that but what you're saying is have one every year in Dublin. Why not have one every year there? Well, you're saying make these permanent fixtures. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying is that the NFL, you were asking how are they going to do this. Right. I think they can do this because outside of Ireland and England and Germany, there's enough European countries over there that they could put multiple games because the soccer stadiums are built. They're massive stadiums. They hold, anywhere between 50 and 80,000
But this will also include Mexico City, Toronto. That's what they will also include those as international games.
Yeah,
they play Brazil now the last 2 years.
The first Japan.
I'm telling you, it's coming. And in Australia is another place. They're dying to play a game in Australia. In fact, I think they've already set that up. Haven't they already booked an NFL game in Australia for one of these upcoming years?
I don't know. I'm not aware.
NFL Australia.
But I will need you to let me know which streaming service it's on.
There you go. The NFL announced. This was from. Here it is. This was, when did they put this article out? The first ever NFL game in Australia would take place at the iconic Melbourne Cricket Ground in 2026. The LA Rams are designated as the home team in the game. NFL is committed to investing in the development of the game year-round across the continent and across the Asia-Pacific region. It's coming. More games there. You're going to get
one in Thailand.
Throw one in Thailand, too. All right, my other one for you. The 49ers are investigating the injury theory that has lit up social media and lit up message boards and lit up everything. This is from ESPN. After another injury-plagued season, the Niners intend to investigate every avenue to find out why those ailments are piling up year after year. That includes an investigation into the viral conspiracy theory that the electrical substation near their training facility and Levi Stadium is contributing to those injuries. This is John Lynch talked yesterday. Because it deals with the health and safety of our players, I think you look into everything. The theory's been making the rounds on the internet. It's crept its way into the 49ers locker room. Players have acknowledged this now.
Yeah.
That the EMF, the electromagnetic force, excessive exposure to it.
Well, I think they saw a couple of guys when they shut the lights off the other night. They were glowing in the dark on the way out the parking lot.
The theory has been shot down by various scientists and medical professionals. I will say this. For them to acknowledge it means it's not a complete impossibility. That is true. Because that is, how many people go on the internet today, Paulie, with everything, and they run with wild, crazy stories about everything.
Mm-hmm.
For the general manager and the coach to sit there yesterday and acknowledge that they are looking into it as it could be a thing means someone has told them, and they have seen some kind of data to tell them, even if it's 5%, it may be a thing. That is wild to me. That's
become so much of a internet
that they have to
that they
acknowledge
kind of at
it.
least just acknowledge it. Say, yeah, we're going to look into that, and probably not. Behind closed doors, they might be laughing their asses off at everybody like you guys crazy because there is no proof of it. So, but it's wild.
I figured you'd like that. Give you a wild story.
Yeah, well, me and conspiracy theories every once in a while.
You've got, those are you get the most TikTok clips off of the conspiracy. Your Ranger conspiracy theory was huge.
Well, it seemed to almost be proven true, so it wasn't that much of a conspiracy.
It wasn't that much of a conspiracy because the letter came out the next day.
Yes, it did.
The letter came out, and then you went. So there you go. Lots of football. Everyone's excited this weekend to let it go.
No college football this week.
It's over, buddy.
Man.
Finished.
Man.
Chopped. Done.
Sad. It's sad.
It is sad.
Sad.
Spring games around the corner, I guess. Spring games are around the corner. If you're
what's going to make it so much better is baseball, baby. So.
Well, baseball is back. I'll tell you that. In fact, I'm gonna jump ahead of my notes here because you brought up baseball first. We did breaking news when we left yesterday that the Yankees brought Bellinger back.
You're on it, man.
And we have had a flurry of activity from the Mets here the last couple of days with Bo Bichette, Luis Robert yesterday trading for him, and then last night trading for Freddie Peralta from the Brewers. So the Mets have really and I wonder where all those Met fans are that were dragging Steve Cohen and David Stearns all over the parking lot of Citi Field.
He's a god now.
Saying, look at this team. They got rid of Alonso, got rid of this, got rid of that. And now, are you everybody happy now? Can they shut up?
Thrilled.
After all that? Because that's a team that's actually trying to do things. That's a team that's actually trying to improve themselves.
Know what? I don't appreciate you beating up Cashman and my Yankees.
Well, I'm about to get there.
Because we don't need anybody.
So are you happy that the same exact team from last year is coming back? Can you name one position on the field that they are improved this year? Name one.
We don't need to.
You can't do it because they haven't added anybody.
Because we have a good team.
Where are they better?
We ran into a tough pitching staff.
Where are they better?
That's about it.
Where are they better? Where have they improved?
They don't necessarily need to have gotten better.
They got their ass beat by Toronto in the division series.
Our pitching let us down.
So you're just hoping that after a year off, you're hoping that after a year off, Garrett Cole's Garrett Cole again. And that's when he comes back in like May or June. You're hoping after a year off, he's himself.
How old is Cole again? They're all in
their mid-30s.
Right? Between Judge,
you're hoping
Giancarlo.
That this Rodon injury that he's going to miss the first 2 months, that he's just going to come back and even be. And I thought he sucked to begin with. Michael,
I'm a Yankees fan. You're a Yankees fan.
So you're just giving the positive spin.
This is what we got. This is what we've been given. This is the roster. I don't see anything else happening. I don't see. Do you see a trade? I talked about maybe Grissom was that whole signing was re-signing because that offers because he's going to be put in a trade, but. There's nobody really left now out on the table unless somebody surprises us.
I think that when a team...
So let's get into this lineup and let's just go, what are we going to do? This is what we got.
Well, the reason why I can't do that is because it's the same exact thing. The thing that didn't win last year...
So that means we're going to get in the playoffs.
And lose in the first round again.
We'll just go for it.
Lose in the first round. That's it.
Well, but we'll have Garrett Cole next year, which will be different.
I mean, the Blue Jays are better. Everybody else is better. Why do they not want to be better? You want to know why?
Blue Jays had a lot of luck this year too.
Okay, they should be spending money like the Dodgers.
Look, baseball changes every year. There's going to be a different Blue Jays, a type of team that plays the way the Blue Jays did this year, and that doesn't necessarily mean the Blue Jays are going to get back. It might be. I mean, look what happened. You had the Diamondbacks the other year. You had the Texas Rangers the other year. As far as getting into the World Series and teams doing stuff that they weren't supposed to do. That's the beauty of baseball, right? So yeah. The Yankees, it's the same thing, but they will win. They will be a good team. They'll probably get in the playoffs. You can't say that for all the other teams, including the New York Mets.
But why is that
they will get into the playoffs?
But why is that?
They don't.
Why is that the bar? Just good. They're good enough to be in the playoffs.
It's a pretty damn good bar.
The Yankees The bar should be to win a World Series.
Of course it is.
That's the bar.
And we won a lot of them.
Yeah, but not in a while.
I know it's been a while.
Not in a while. And this team is the same. They are running back the same exact team that got their ass beat by the Blue Jays. I don't see the appeal in being excited about that.
Because they're the New York Yankees.
I think that, and maybe I'm spoiled because I grew up in a time when the Yankees strived for excellence in the late 90s, and George strove for excellence, and he wanted to win at all costs. And if he needed another player, he got it. And if he needed whatever he needed, he got it. And those days are long gone. But I don't think it's fair. Like, just okay. Well, let's bring the same team back.
We still have the best baseball player in the game.
All right, and I don't disagree with that. One of the two best. I agree. I understand.
We've got guys like Wells and Benny Rice who can have a good year this year. Obviously, Volpe's. I mean,
Volpe sucks.
I understand that, but he sucked. He sucked this last year. It doesn't necessarily mean when he gets healthy again, he won't suck again.
I
think I have to be positive.
Listen, if you want to be positive, that's fine.
Look, see, he's wearing a Yankees hat.
If you want to be positive, that's fine. I look at it from the other side. The other side is you're bringing back the same team that didn't get it done last year. You didn't improve. In fact, you've lost pieces. You lost 2 pieces out of your bullpen. You've lost other.
But they sucked anyway.
Fine and all good. But again, I'm just asking you, anywhere on the team are they better today than they were last year? Nowhere.
They can just have a better season. They do have. Yes, we still have a very good bullpen. Okay.
I don't know if you'll ever get.
We have a very good starting lineup, especially if it's healthy. They don't need to be healthy April, May, and June. I'm sorry, they just don't. When they need to be healthy is July, August, September. Okay, and we'll have them. They'll be ready. As far as the rest of the team, yes,
they have
a bunch of guys had some really struggling years and then obviously struggled in the playoffs. That doesn't mean that's going to happen again next year.
They have dragged you into the mediocrity that they have become.
It's not.
You're with them now. You've been dragged into this is good enough. This is the New York Yankees. They are the premier franchise in North American sports, and they should be winning World Series. They should be competing for World Series. And right now they just compete to play a couple extra home games in October. That's it.
It's just baseball. It's just the way it is, man.
It's random. That's what Cashwood would tell you.
It's just, what are we going to do, man? We're going through it. We're going through it.
I'm not going there. I don't accept it. I think they should be doing better.
I think they should still has a long way to go here.
No, it doesn't. It's over. I mean, they're throwing the ball next week in Florida. I mean, it's over. This is it. This is it. There's nothing left.
We are Yankees fans.
At least
this is our squad.
At least the other team
they're going to win
on the other side of town saw that they weren't good enough, jumbled some pieces, and changed some things up. And actually wanted to change. I mean, mix it up. Mix it up.
All right. What is today? Today
Shake it up.
January 22nd. All right.
Yeah.
Let everybody record this. The New York Mets will not make the playoffs next year.
You know what? That's fine. And that would be because their pitching isn't good enough to do that. But
can I ask you this? Do you think the New York Yankees are not going to make the playoffs next year?
Yeah, they'll probably make the playoffs.
Thank you. So their argument settled. Thank you very much.
I don't think that I would be stunned if they even made or won the World Series.
You have just said no matter all the
changes. That's not my goal.
All the changes that the Mets just made, right? And the fans are going crazy. And with now the Yankees are bringing back the same roster.
Would I be shocked?
You just said
would I be shocked?
Yankees will make the playoffs over the Mets making the playoffs.
Wait a second. You said would I be shocked if they didn't make the playoffs?
So I asked you are the Yankees going to make the playoffs next year?
Oh, the Yankees will.
And then I asked you if the Mets.
They will really make the playoffs.
All right, I don't think they will.
They'll make the playoffs. But I'm not here to just make the playoffs.
I know, but
I'm here to win a World Series.
Of course, that's obvious.
This team's not good enough to win a World Series.
I don't know.
They're not.
If we have a healthy
it's uninspiring to bring the same exact team back. That was an uninspiring team.
Slitler, Garrett.
Okay.
Max.
He was great in his Cubs starts down the stretch. Are you guaranteed he's going to pitch like that all year? Is that him?
Well, the pitching's not even so much a concern. It's about his infield play.
Yeah. I guess that's true. I just expect greatness from them. And
we'll talk about the Mets trade here
as
far as the Brewers on their side making that kind of a move, giving up a guy like that. What's that all about?
Well, that actually turns me to the other point I was going to make to you about the baseball today, which was that everybody tries to blame the Dodgers for the downfall of baseball, and there's going to be a lockout, and there's going to be baseball's going to shut down next year. The owners want a salary cap, all these things. And I get it. The Dodgers have spent a lot of money and have done some, manipulating of their cap and things like that. But is it the Dodgers' fault that every year the Brewers sell off another good player? Like, did the Dodgers go into the Brewers front office and say, you better trade Freddie Peralta this year, you better trade Devin Williams, you better trade this guy? Is it the Dodgers' fault that Atlanta didn't bring Freddie? I saw somebody, I think it was Bob Nightingale. Listen, Bob does a great job. He made some of these points. Like, did the Dodgers call Atlanta and tell them not to bring Freddie Freeman back? Did the Dodgers call Boston and say, you really shouldn't trade Mookie Betts to us? Did the Dodgers call, allegedly the Angels could have matched the Dodgers' offer to keep Ohtani? Is it the Dodgers' fault that the Angels didn't do that? Is it the Dodgers' fault that the Cubs and the Astros didn't keep Kyle Tucker? Like, you do go down those chain of events. Everybody hates the Dodgers and what they've done. But
it's
why are these other teams not? They all make tons of money hand over fist. Yeah. And why are they not doing it? Like, I get on the Yankees for not spending the type of money that I feel like they should. And they spend a lot. Hal will cry poor to you all he wants. But these other teams, Paulie, in the middle to the bottom, their revenues are high. Why are they not? Like, they cry poor. They got money. They don't have Dodger money. I understand that. But they also don't keep any of their players.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. You can't blame the Dodgers. They've got it. They've gone for it. They've made their organization a destination spot for players, and they've just figured out the system.
Don't let your player become available for them to sign.
Yeah, well, that's
right. I mean, I don't know. Like, I see both sides of it, kind of. Like, I think it all sucks that the Dodgers have every good player. Every good player that seems like the Dodgers get. Signing.
But they don't. See, that's probably a discussion we could have in length on even just a podcast itself. At the end of the day, the Dodgers, their lineup, as great as it is, and all the assets they've gotten, all the guys have been able to sign, the endless amount of funds and cash, and the way they've been able to do it. And Roberts is a great coach, and go on and on and on. And they've been able to do it, on the different international side. But it's mixed. It's a very diverse team. And bringing in the pitching from Japan and everything else. And, and then you have the two-way player. I mean, it's just kind of lined up for them. But, if you look at the series against the Yankees last year, the Yankees did themselves in on basic baseball fundamentals and basic managerial decisions or, just things just kind of in a way. And I will say this, like the Dodgers, as good as they are, they got a hell of a lot of luck in the Yankee series, and they absolutely had a lot of luck on their side in the Blue Jay series. Even the fact that if Kiner-Falefa had just been a couple of inches taller.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, no.
So as good as the Dodgers are,
it's not an
I'm
guarantee.
Saying that the Yankees and the Blue Jays, and definitely on the Yankee side, they beat themselves last year, 2 years ago, and the Blue Jays themselves also kind of made some terrible mistakes. The Phillies, the mistakes that the Phillies made in that championships divisional series there too. I mean, that in itself, if you look at it, so as good as the Dodgers are, you can't tell me. Look at the tape. Yeah. They got in with a hell of a lot of luck. So they're beatable is what I'm saying.
Right.
They're beatable. So I don't hate the Dodgers because at the end of the day, go out and play the game.
Yeah.
No matter who's on their team.
Yeah. No, it's look, it is the unfortunate thing about all this is this time next year.
Yeah, this place is rocking here today.
This time it is. It's a big Thursday here at Borrelli's. This time next year, unfortunately, we might be talking about there not being baseball, which is just it sucks at the end of the day, and that. Whether it's a lockout, things like that,
I don't think it'll happen.
Look, you talk about losing a lot of money if that happens. That's for sure. Why don't you? It is a rocking Borrelli's. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio here, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. Before we finish with some hockey, why don't you tell everybody about everything that is going on here at a rocking Borrelli's?
All right, just give you what's going on this weekend and into next week. And yeah, it's a great lunch crowd here today at Borrelli's. And you come down here anytime. Just mention the Carver and Cuthbert show, and you can start your time here at Borrelli's with a free Miller draft. That's anytime, any day of the week, anytime, any night, any day. Walk in. Hey, Carver and Cuthbert sports show here at Borrelli's. Give me a free Miller draft. So do that. This weekend, live music in and around all the sports that's going on Saturday. Evan Karuga is coming in here. He'll be playing at 7 p.m. And then on Sunday, the Atlantic Band will be playing. Borrelli's is closed tomorrow, which is Friday. So there's a private event going on here. So coming down Saturday and Sunday. Again, Evan Karuga on Saturday, 7 p.m. And Sunday, live music with the Atlantic Band around 5 p.m. Next Tuesday, Comedy Series returns here at Borrelli's with Joe List. There are a few tickets remaining. Go to Borrelli's Taproom or go to eventbrite.com and search Borrelli's Taproom, Borrelli's Comedy. Next Wednesday is the debut of the music theme night, Sinatra Serenade. Come on down here. The greatest hits of Frank Sinatra live, including great dinner specials, signature dinners, and signature cocktails that Frank Sinatra himself loved. Just great stuff. Half price bottles of wine, $10 signature drinks, and like I said, the menu is just phenomenal. You can go to follow the Instagram account for Borrelli's at Borrelli's Long Beach on Instagram, and you'll get the full rundown of the dinner specials that are going to be here, including steak Diane and veal and all kinds of great stuff. So check that out. That's next Wednesday, and next Thursday. Rangers
Islanders party, hockey night in New York, right?
Hockey night in New York. Our friends over there are coming down here, and the Islanders and the Rangers will, I guess, have a hockey game. I don't know how that's going to look for the Rangers on their side.
Well, the Rangers,
But all kinds of drink specials going on there. Pre-game show with Hockey Night in New York podcast, and the Rangers and Islanders on all the TVs and all kinds of drinks, and bucket specials, and all that other stuff. So that's what's going on into the Arctic World Snow event that's coming in to the US,
allegedly.
Starting this weekend.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Rangers are at the Tank tomorrow night. We'll finish off this California trip against the Sharks. At least they got to spend some time out in Cali to just think about it and not out, the last few days.
What do you mean when you say that? What
Saying it's nice to have a couple days off in California as opposed to being here, away from everybody, just kind of let things California dreaming. You lose a couple games Monday, Tuesday, you get to head up north to the northern part of Cali and just wait to play this game Friday night, and you kind of just kick back and relax.
It's a nice part of being a professional athlete. You're going to get a couple of games off in between your schedule and your traveling and everything else. And lucky for the Rangers, they're out in California, and hopefully the weather's nice and you'll get some beach time and everything before they come back to the gauntlet here in New York and the fan base and everything else. And I'm telling you right now, and the Owls, fair play to them. They should be going out of their ways to put the couple more cannonballs in the Rangers ship here.
They should.
Because it's going down fast. And now the question is where's Panarin going, and what other kind of moves the Rangers going to make here? Because what's going on the ice is not a lot of fun.
I'll take this time to address this before we leave, and we only have 2 or 3 minutes. I have seen people around town who think that the Rangers would trade Artemi Panarin to the Islanders. Now, I would just like to say there is 0.0
Can you ask the Islanders
percent chance.
Who are you giving up for Artemi Panarin? Who are you giving up?
Both sides don't do it. Okay, it's bad for both sides. It's bad for business on both sides.
But who knows?
Islanders and Rangers have made trades in the past. It's like nonsense trades with nothing. Like
third line, forechecker.
You're talking about the optics here. Is he their highest paid player, Panarin? I think he's the highest paid player on the roster. And I know he's going to be a free agent at the end of this year. That's why he's getting traded. The whole thing with the Islanders when almost signing him, when he did sign with the Rangers. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you said, what's the value? I almost feel like there's a tax to make that trade if you're the Islanders and the Rangers together because of being in the same town and being in the same city. But it's just not happening to begin with. It's just nonsense to talk about as far as I'm concerned. It's never happening, ever.
No, and I think the Rangers are going to get I think they'll get more value for Panarin outside of the division. I believe so. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they're going to keep him in the conference. But
look, I'm kind of now at the, especially when you're talking about a guy who's going to be a rental and he's only going to be there for 2 months anyway, and you're gonna, he's going to be somewhere else in the summer. Like Paulie, I am in the camp of, I don't really care who you trade him for as long as it's the best package you could possibly get. But I got to tell you, even if the Islanders, A, probably wouldn't offer you the best package, and B, it's not happening anyway. It's just a nonsensical trade. Well, it just is.
Here's the thing, too. So the top teams in the league right now don't necessarily need an Artemi Panarin, right? So where is he going? Where is that, fourth, fifth, sixth? Could you see him in Tampa?
Look, maybe. And how about this?
Point just went down, didn't he?
Yeah. I didn't know this. I saw this on TNT last night during the broadcast. The 5 best records in the NHL since right before Christmas. So we're talking a little bit about a month right now. 5 best records in the last month. The top 5 teams in the Atlantic. Those 5 teams in the same division have the 5 best records in the league over the last month. That's Tampa, Montreal, Buffalo, Boston, and who am I missing there? Detroit. Detroit. Yeah, yes, they're the 5th. So Boston has had, before losing the other night, had like 6 in a row they had won, and they've been a very streaky team. But 5 teams in the Atlantic, the best records in hockey the last month. There's teams. I think Buffalo couldn't use them to finally crack the egg and make the playoffs for the first time in forever.
Boston's a nice spot.
Look, he's going to get traded. It ain't going to be to the Islanders. That's all I wanted to get off my chest. That's just really, what I wanted to say about that. I think it's nonsense.
Yeah, I think that's nonsense.
Islanders lose in Seattle last night before we go. They had 3 power plays in the first 8 minutes of the game, and they only scored 1 goal. You knew it was going to be downhill from there. Then Seattle outscored them 4-1, 4-0 after that. Look, it's a decent trip, 3-1. I said to you yesterday, and it's so true. When you come home in the same place that you left after a long trip like that, I think it's a win. Mm-hmm. And now they've got some, listen, I don't like these early afternoon games coming off a long road trip, and they play Buffalo Saturday afternoon at 1:00. I think that's tricky for them, honestly. Then they play the Flyers, and then they have that home and home, which we'll talk about a lot on next week's shows, Wednesday, Thursday, Islanders, Rangers. Big hockey shows here for us on Wednesday and Thursday next week.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. I mean, I'd say more Islander fans are looking forward to it.
Well, look,
hey man, I'm here for the ride. I'm here for the Rangers ride. I mean, it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
But what can you do? I just can't really get all fired up for them, buddy.
What can you do? Great job as always. We'll be back next week, Wednesday and Thursday, 12 noon, of course, East. Like I said, big Rangers Islanders. We'll know who's going to the Super Bowl. We'll have our Super Bowl matchup for Santa Clara. Wow. And we have several other things to get to as well. Enjoy the games this Sunday, and we will see you back here next week. Carver and Cuthbert, Go Sports Radio, Borrelli's Taproom in Long Beach on the island. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next week.